All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the son of Mashiach, son called Yahweh, Yeshua, Yehoshua, Yashayah. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Okay. We have this brother here, Dwayne, brother Dwayne. He also be linked up with another brother named Dave. They on TikTok all day long. Salvation available to all. Why Hebrew Israelites don't believe the Bible. If he's not on, then Dave's on, and vice versa. Challenging Israelites jumping on the panel. And this is an interaction that I caught. You know, every now and then I dive in there and just look and sit around for about 15, 20 minutes. And then I get out there. But I did catch this interaction that he was having with this brother. And happened to, hit that screen record. And seeing, trying to see where this thing was finna go. And he brought up this verse where the brother kind of just waved it off and he kind of went somewhere else. And I'm just showing you and trying to establish a methodology with our brothers and sisters, especially those who have the zeal to jump on panels and challenge these apologists. Just certain things that you can't do. You have to face things head on. We have a tendency of trying to throw things off and not address things by saying, well, it could be anybody. And, we used to just do it. No, man, you have to go directly at the problem. All right, so let me let this thing play, and then you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Andrew, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James. Who is all these people?
The disciples.
The apostles, right?
Yep.
And James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite. You see that, right?
Yeah.
Is this saying, what is this verse saying about Simon?
It's saying he's a Canaanite.
It's saying he's a Canaanite. Now he's talking about the 12 apostles, and what Brother Dwayne is trying to tell, trying to show that this brother is that one of the apostles is a Canaanite. Is what he's trying to establish by reading this verse. Let me go back.
It's saying he's a Canaanite, but many Israelites are called after other nations.
Now, you see, I done forgot. If you're looking at the video, I done forgot I'm screen recording. I'm immediately trying to deal with the verse. I'm not finna just be glazing over and saying something, but, I'm not on the panel at that moment. But I'm not finna glaze over. My first reflex is to go to the verse. I need to see what you just read, sir, because what you just read did sound like Simon's is a Canaanite, which the brother did repeat. And so initially, off face value, we have to go with the obvious. Okay, the obvious is that it says Simon the Canaanite, which will say, okay, well, obviously he's a Canaanite, without us doing any other research, and that just taking it for face value or what is, and we have to. That's where it has to start. And if it's not attacked, then that's where it's gonna lie. That's where it ends. We have to go back to what it's just obviously saying that Simon is a Canaanite. If we're not going to attack it and say some blanket statement like we finna hear our brother say, watch this.
Many Israelites are called after other nations.
He said many Israelites are called after other nations.
So only way you will know that they're Israelite or not is context.
The only way you'll know that they're Israelite is by context. What is the context here? What is the context? What do you mean? And brothers do this with Gentiles too. Where the only way you'll know it's a Gentile is that you got to read the context. And the only people that I've ever seen to try to give the context to Gentiles is GMS. One of the apostles said, and I had that video. I could find that video and re-upload it. They were saying if it's something good, then it must be Israel. And it's off of the pre-notion that Only Israel can be saved. So if it's something good, then it gotta be Israel. If it's something bad, then it's the other nations. That's how you know. That's the context. And that's bad hermeneutics. That's bad methodology.
That's how we know Cornelius is not a Gentile.
That's how we know Cornelius is not a Gentile. How do you know Cornelius is not a Gentile? Because you feel like salvation is only for Israel, and Cornelius and his family has received salvation. That's what it seems like. Something good is happening, so he must be an Israelite. That's what they're saying when they're saying it needs to be context. And we'll throw away the obvious where it's saying that, hey, you know what? He's that of another nation. I can't sit down with him that is of another nation. We just throw that in the trash. No, he's an Israelite because he's being saved. It don't matter what that said. Don't matter what James said about Peter in Acts 15. Don't matter, man. Don't matter.
Oh, let's go to that right quick. You said by context.
Yeah, context. That's how you know.
By context, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, now tell me what makes Cornelius be called a Jew?
That's correct.
And I kind of left after that because now you done took it somewhere else. You done went somewhere else instead of attacking. Why is this text saying Simon is a Canaanite? All right, and we finna get into it. We're about to get into it. Let me share my screen here. Go back here. Go back one more. And we have him here. Simon the Canaanite. All right, that's what we seeing. Context-wise, what's going on? You know, verse 1, and when we called him, when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cause them out, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now the names of the 12 apostles are these: first Simon, who called Peter, blah 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 blah. You know, he just naming the names. What's the context? Why is it calling him the Canaanite? All right. So we're going to go into the interlinear. And we're going to go here. And I want to say, Dwayne, you know, I'm kind of disappointed in you, brother. That you slipped up like that. But it kind of showed me. Kind of revealing yourself a little bit. You're trying to revealing yourself and where you're at a little bit. And then if you did know this, then you kind of being deceptive. So I want to say you didn't know this. All right. All right. This word for Canaanite was only used 2 times. All right. It's used in Matthew 10:4. Simon the Canaanite, Judas the Iscariot. Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. We see it also again here, Simon the Canaanite in Mark for the same passage. But this Canaanite here equals Zealous. All right. The surname of apostle, otherwise known as Simon Zelotes. So this is really, Canaanite word here is really describing him as being zealous. You see the definition here, zealous. It's an epithet, which is an adverb, a phrase, a descriptive phrase. All right, it's describing Simon as being zealous. That's why the surname there. And then you see here by mistake. And see our brother Dwayne made that mistake. By mistake, a derivative from Canaan. All right, by mistake. And if you see how Canaan is pronounced, the pronunciation there, you can see how it can be mistaken. Those words are very similar. All right. But if you look down a little farther here in the Thayer's Greek lexicon, but again, by mistake, you know, again, our brother Dwayne made that mistake. You see here, equivalent to, according to the interpretation of Luke 6:15. You see Luke 6:15. It says Matthew, Thomas, James. You see the son Alphaeus, and you see the son Simon called Zelotes. All right, Simon called Zealous. See that there? It's also in Acts 1:13. All right, where it's not saying Canaan or Canaanite, and that also can be based on maybe Luke writing in a different language than Mark and Matthew. Why those are translated a little different. But not to get into too much textual criticism, but those are the things we have to look at. So it's not that he's a Canaanite, it's more so that he is zealous. It's describing him as zealous. We have some comparative text here also. That's why you can't just be a KJV onlyist. And you see here, everybody has retranslated this thing into Simon the Zealot. Simon the Zealot, KJV, New KJV. They still using Canaanite. Everybody else is turning to Zealot. They put a Canaan, but they put Zealot. All right, Simon the Canaan, they put a little question mark. I don't know what that means. The others were Simon, known as the Eager One. Okay, Canaan, we see that in a few others. Simon the Patriot in the Good News translation. The Zealot, we see Canaan here in a couple of other ones, but mostly Zealot. This thing has been translated to, especially in the more modern translations, to cause the confusion. So brothers like our brother Dwayne doesn't make that mistake. But on the flip of that, we allowed him to make that mistake. And then we went somewhere else that didn't help the conversation. You have another issue or something that's similar to that in with the same word with Canaan, but not this particular word, but actually Canaanite. And Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14, the last verse here. It says, yea, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take of them and see if therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of the Lord of hosts. And then it's like, well, why, where is the Canaanite? When is the Canaanite in the temple around these pots and stuff and doing these sacrifices? And I don't know if it's gonna give it to us in the linear. Let me see. But I do know adjective noun. So you see it's also used for merchant there twice. And I think it's better translated no more merchants in that temple. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna give us. We'll have to dig too deep. I don't want to go too deep in it. Pause. Let's just do comparative text and then we'll get up out of here and y'all can look more into it. I think it's also there in Proverbs 31. Hold on, let me show y'all too. Proverbs 31 is that word, is that same word, and it'll say merchant there. Proverbs 31:24, I think. Yeah. She maketh fine linen and seeth and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. And if you look there, it's that same word, all right, that we seen for Canaanite. Okay. For Canaanite. And so you're talking about context. Well, which one are you going to use? It's it's kind of what fits. That's when you get into context. Okay, you see this word is used for a couple of different things. Which one is the best fit? All right, which one is the best fit We go back. What are we reading here? All right, she make a fine linen and selleth it, and deliver girdles unto the merchant or the Canaanite. The merchant kind of fits a little better if she's selling. It's it matches contextually. The merchant matches better to that verse than the Canaanite. But if they did put Canaanite, it ain't that it's wrong. It's just it could be a Canaanite, but it's just better understood as merchant there. And I think the same thing happens with Zechariah. We'll see here Zechariah 14 and 24. What it was, Zechariah 14. What was that? 14:21. Let's put 14:21. Yeah. You see Canaanite here. There will no longer be a Canaanite in the house. NLT says, and on that day there will be no longer be traders in the temple. Yeah, ESV say, and there will no longer be a trader in the temple. There say Canaanite in the temple, Canaanite in the temple, Canaanite in the temple, Canaanite in the temple, Canaanite. That is any god that's a spiritually unclean person. So Canaanite may be a better fit there. Canaanite could be a better fit. Merchant, good news says merchant. And I was thinking merchant because, I was way back to Christ tossing the tables up, because jokers done made the temple adorn a place of commerce. And so that's where my brain was going with that. But, that's what you have to do when we're talking about getting context and trying to see what word best fits there. Those are the kind of brainstorming and things one has to do. Man, I pray this thing was edifying. Y'all be blessed. Shalom.